Hey everybody, this is Javi. You are watching the Bowtie Psychic here on YouTube. I'm a psychic and intuitive medium who focuses on divination and storytelling to help people overcome generational trauma. I'm also hosting the Monday Night Special segment, which started tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, hey to the person who just dropped on, let me know who you are so I can greet you accordingly. Um, I'm going to be in a minute. I'm going to be doing the. For one, I'm just going to tell you what's going on tonight. So I'm going to be doing a one card reading for the collective, and then we're going to be hashing about the inner child. And hey, what's going on? Hi, what's going on, Michaela? So I'm going to be talking about the inner child and how it's very important for folks who have gone through trauma to tap into that energy for their own healing. And also, if you would like to have a mini reading, you can either pay $20 or you can just give a donation. The donations will go to a paypal.me.hobby the medium. In fact, the thing is right there. So I'm all right. I'm very well rested. Um, in fact, I'm trying to. I wonder if I can share this. I'm wondering if I can, and I'm going to before we get started with everything. So I'm going to put this on Facebook. You can share this on Facebook. In fact, if you resonate with anything that happens tonight, share it on your Facebook pages or Instagram or wherever you are. I would really appreciate it because the more support we have, the more people we have, the better, right? I meant to share this. Monday Night Special is on right now. Click on the link. Click on the link to join. So I'll put this the page I manage, which is Bowtie Psychic. I'll post this on Facebook. That way people will know that I am here. How was your weekend, Michaela? Where did you? How was your Halloween? Let's see. I wish there was a way to show put this on Instagram too. All right. I didn't do anything for Halloween either. I did nothing for Halloween. You heard? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, Michaela. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't do anything. It was very cold. It was very wet. The streets, our street was very, very, very quiet. So we didn't do anything. My housemate, we just stayed home for the most part, which is unfortunate because it just seems to me like every time Halloween comes through, there's always bad weather. I don't feel like doing anything, and so I didn't have the chance to decorate the house. So it was just very low key, very low key. I went to a friend's house, maybe not even on Halloween, and I just watched movies. I think we watched the Seed of Chucky on the weekend. Yeah, it really is. It's always bad, always. So I put out the word. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the one card reading. Okay, hold on for just 1 second. My phone has been acting up too. One card reading for the collective, and then we can get started. Hey, I know that I saw that a second person came on. So, do I like scary movies? Yeah, I do. I like mine more psychological. So let's get started here. Dear Higher Spirit, I pray that you use me as a vessel. Whatever comes through is from you, the highest and the best of my guardians, ancestors, wise ones, guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters. Whatever comes through may come from a place of light and love and is rooted in truth. And I pray you put the white light of protection around me and those who are meant to resonate with this message. This is one card message for the collective. I pray that you connect me to the mind, body, and spirit of those who are meant to resonate with tonight's message. I pray that you connect me to the heart chakra spirit of those who are meant to resonate with tonight's message. Also, so we got the Luminous Warrior. So let me see what this says here. The Luminous Warrior. This is card 32. Yeah, hold on, let me see what I can say intuitively, and then we'll go with the thing. What I'm getting is that a lot of us are, yeah, a lot of us are very. What I'm getting is that a lot of us are very wounded. A lot of us are wounded warriors, and a lot of us, as a result, we carry a lot of those wounds, and we have the tendency to carry them so much that it just covers up our light. So what this card is basically saying is that a lot of us are just now discovering their light and just now discovering their worth and just now discovering who they are, in this world and what their purpose is. And so there's going to be a lot of darkness and a lot of inner child work and a lot of wounded warrior work that is going to be happening in the month of November. What I'm getting from this card straight up and flat out is that a lot of people are awakening and facing their shadows. They're facing their shadows, they're facing their darkness, and this is literally the time for us to face that stuff and learn. Not to run away from it anymore, not to use anything, drink anything, or use any sort of substance or do anything that would keep us from seeing ourselves. Seeing the parts of ourselves that we don't like, seeing parts of ourselves that we are not here for, because those are the parts of us that are going to help us shine through. A lot of us are going to be, yeah, I just feel it. A lot of people are hurting right now. A lot of people are hurting right now because a lot of us are keeping things in. A lot of things have happened, and we have the tendency to charge forward. And when we charge forward like that, we have the tendency to be in survival mode. We just go on autopilot. I'm getting that a lot of you are to drink water, and a lot of you are, even though you're awakening, I'm getting a lot of intense headaches as a result of this awakening. So that tells me that your third eye is activating. Allow your third eye to activate. Okay, do not put yourself in a position of walking away from your light or walking away from your freedom, and that freedom that comes from learning who you are as a person. Okay, you are a luminous warrior. Act as so you are to act as if you are to step into your power. You are to step into your light, and when you are able to do that, um, you're literally stepping into your strength. You're stepping into your strength. You're stepping into your courage. Okay, and that's what I'm getting from this card. There's a lot of warriors around here. There's a lot of luminous warriors. There's a lot of people um, who are gathering their like who are being asked to gather their strength. I know that two or three people came through. Just come and say, "Hey, thank you so much for the thumbs up," and let yourself be known so I can address you accordingly. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. But basically, a lot of us, in order for us um, to see our strength, we are to look into our past, and that actually comes to the luminous warrior is pretty much a segue into our conversation about the inner child and how it's so important for a lot of us to tap into that inner spirit, that childlike spirit, because listen, there's so many people that are walking around who are adults and have not tapped into that energy. But before we even get started, if you resonated with the one card reading, by all means, give me a thumbs up, and I really appreciate that. Also, you can subscribe to the channel if you're new here. You can also share it on your pages, your social media pages, and also please comment. Let's have a conversation about this. As time goes on. But yeah, like let's get started. How is everyone doing? Like, how is everyone doing? How are the three people or the folks who are just hopped on? Like, I hope y'all had a good Halloween. If you do celebrate Halloween, um, Samhain, or the Day of the Dead, um, a lot of people are celebrating their ancestors, and that now that energy is not as heavy as it was. Doesn't mean that your ancestors are not there. In fact, they're here more than ever because we're still in Scorpio season. We're still in the beginning of it, and it's also Mercury retrograde. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming up as far as our past. I just feel and see a lot of darkness. It's also very dark outside where I am, and so as a result, we're being asked to not run, and to basically look at our past. And one way to do that is to tap into our inner child. The inner child is basically the little one that's still within us, the little one, that has gone through, you don't have to go through trauma to tap into your inner child, but there's a lot of us who are walking around um, as children in adult bodies. And so when I say that because there's a lot of folks who have not healed from what happened. It was like it all depends on when the abuse happened. I know for me, when I was 5 years old. Hey, how you doing, Diamond? How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Um, I know that when I was 5 years old, like a lot of my sexual abuse started then. My aunt, introduced us to porn, at least me and a couple of other kids. Um, Actually like introduced us to porn, and for that is covert abuse where um or overt, I'm sorry, is overt abuse where there's no, it's covert, I'm sorry, when there's no touching, and there's no not necessarily like like physical assault or anything physical happening, but basically that's when I was introduced to sex in a way that was not appropriate, for someone my age. And it just went on from there. Because I was molested at 5, I was mentally and emotionally arrested. Like developmentally, I was arrested, and at 5 years old. So when I grew up as an adult, I still had the maturity and the wherewithal of a 5 year old child. Okay, and it took me going into therapy and took me doing a lot of growing up, over the years, in some way, shape, or form, and a lot of trial and error to realize that the person that you saw, even though I was in my adult body, there was still that child who was just being abused and still suffering from that abuse. And the reason why the inner child is coming in, a lot of that inner child energy is coming through for a lot of people, is because now that inner child is angry and that inner child is wanting attention. And what's happening is that they're coming out sideways. They're running our life. They are running our life. It's not the other way around. Okay. A lot of us have not grown and have not given ourselves the opportunity to grow up. So a lot of our experiences, even though we think that we are having those experiences as an adult, what's happening is that the inner child is basically running us from on a subconscious level. They drive our behavior. They drive our behavior, and depending on what the abuse what the abuse is and the severity of the abuse, what ends up happening is that you're reenacting a lot of the abuse based on what you've been through as a child. You understand? That's what happens. And so now with the retrograde happening and with Scorpio energy coming up, now all that energy is coming through. In order for you to be a well-adjusted, well-rounded adult, you are to tap into that inner child. You are to tap into that energy. You are to nurture and honor that child because they've had those experiences. This is extremely important for those who have transitioned. This is also very important for those who are trans and gender non-conforming. There's a lot of us who are battling with their inner child and battling with that child's our identity as a child. Okay, and so when you are growing up, and depending on how you transition, some people go through second puberty, what is called second puberty, when you take hormones, or when you yeah, when you take hormones, and oops, and some people do not. Either way, you know I know for me, when I went through my transition, I realized that I cannot move forward as Javi until I make amends, or um, not make amends, but basically um, honor and acknowledge and protect that little child I was before I went through this whole thing. She protected me so I can come out. Okay. What if abuse was the issue? What if it was with that's another form of abuse. Neglect and emotional detachment is another form of abuse because there was no acknowledgement. Okay, there was no acknowledgement of your feelings. There was no acknowledgement of your emotional state. It was just that person that was like detaching their love from you. And so that is a form of abuse because now you're touch deprived, you're love deprived. Okay, and now you're finding it is someplace else. Now you're looking towards other people, okay, for that type of love. And what happens, Diamond, is that we start to reenact that abuse by looking, um, for other people who um, who basically emulate that type of behavior that we experience as a child from somebody else, like addictions. Addiction, or could you elaborate on that? Hey, everyone, for coming through. I really appreciate it. like addictions. There are and if you're talking about addiction as far as people using in the family, addiction is very like we okay. So Diamond asks, like, do we use addictions as a form of replacing what we didn't receive as a child? Yes, there is a such thing as sex and love addiction, and relationship addiction, where you're basically like either using sex or using a romantic relationship as or some idea of love um, towards somebody to basically um, replace what you didn't receive as a child. Okay, a lot of us, and who have who struggle with addiction or struggle with some sort of um, alcohol abuse or substance abuse or food or sex, whatever that is, that's basically you filling that hole, and filling that hole that you have in your hole, having your spirit, because you did not get what you was rightfully yours, as far as emotion and love and compassion when you were a child. Okay, we use things outside of ourselves to replace what we didn't receive. Okay, say for instance, if you did not, say for instance, you know, I'll use myself as an example. Like, I did not receive a lot of affection, from my mom. I did not receive a lot of affection from her at all. And I didn't. On top of that, like I was, sex deprived and touch deprived, and thinking that I had to, be sexual in order to get that stuff. And so what ends up happening was that as an adult, I began sleeping around with people. I began using sex as a way of connecting with people. Okay, I use sex as a way of validating myself, and that's what addiction is about too. Addiction is about validation, is instant gratification. Okay, and that's what we look for because we did not get that gratification as children. Does that make sense? Does anyone else have any questions? So that's why it's just extremely important. All right. All right. Thank you so much for asking that question. Um, because we also had to talk about too, like there are many forms of abuse and that we go through, and that abuse in our family dynamic, where we are in our families, plays into our archetype. Everyone, like, I'm going to say this: every family, every child in the family is an archetype. I was the hero. I was the protector. There are people who are the clown. There are people who are the rebel. There are children who are the dreamers. Okay, and so what ends up happening is that um, that shapes us, or in some aspects, excuse me, a lot of that is chipped away at, or it goes overboard. Okay, there are people who are adults and they're very protective of other people. Okay, there are the dreamers, who are, always daydreaming, always in a state of idealism. Okay, and they grow up into thinking that um, none of that stuff is happening for them because somewhere along the line, you know, that stopped once that idealism, stopped when where they started being abused. Okay, like everyone has an archetype, and that archetype shapes you as a person, or it can change over time depending on what happened or when the abuse happened or the severity of the abuse. I know that myself, I was a protector of the family. I was a protector of the family. I'm the protector of my siblings. Okay, that and when it comes to trauma, okay, you get stuck. You get stuck. That child gets stuck in that particular archetype, and so they grow up. with that archetype. Some of it is some of the time is so buried that they don't even realize it until they get help or until they start to do the inner child work necessary. Okay, so we're gonna get into these cards real quick. If y'all resonated with that in any way, shape, or form with about the inner child, by all means, let me know and let people know that that we're having this conversation um, by sharing. And also if you are wanting a mini reading in any way, shape, or form, by all means, you know you can give it. You can drop a donation in my PayPal account. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, I meant to say this too. I'm actually creating because I realized for myself that I am meant to do primarily inner child work with people. That's what I'm here for, and that is my purpose according to spirit. According to spirit, I'm supposed to be doing inner child work with folks, and I will be doing it for myself as well, of course, because you know I'm not only am I like a spiritual teacher, but I'm also a student, and I'm learning just like everyone else. And so, what I'm going to be doing is a podcast dedicated to inner child readings, inner child messages. Helping people tap into their inner child. To listen to what their inner child is telling them. And it's literally is called the Inner Child Collective. And so I'm actually working on that right now, getting everything together, so I will be going ahead to do that. I'm very excited about it because I'm like, what can I do with this podcast? What can I do to for the collective? And that's another thing too. When as you grow older, you lose that sense of self. You lose that sense of childhood. You don't have a childhood, so like that you have to grow up so fast. And what ends up happening is that when you become an adult, you get so bogged down by the world and by society that you forget what you're here for. You forget that you are a soul. You forget that you are a soul in a human body and having human experiences. And we have certain human experiences to help us rediscover who we are. And so I was, I'm rediscovering that the reason why I'm here is because, for one, I'm here to teach people that it's okay to be yourself. And secondly, I'm here to work with the inner child and work with children. So that's what I am doing. And that's what the Inner Child Collective is going to be focused on. So I'll definitely keep you posted, but I'm really excited. I feel like that is what I am meant to do. Um, so thank you so much, Diamond. I really appreciate it. And I thank y'all for for all your support. I really appreciate it. I see like 6 people jumped on. So if you have not joined, hello. And I'm glad you're here. And if you are so inclined, please let me know who you are. Will it be on Patreon? Yes. Thank you for reminding me that. Spirit is good, aren't they? The squad is working. Okay, so I'm actually creating a Patreon for the Bowtie Psychic, and the collective will have an opportunity to get shout outs on the podcast. So I'll be able to, yeah. Oh, hey, Sarah. Hey, what's going on? So I'll be doing that as well. I'm getting a Patreon together, and yeah. Let me know when it launches. I'm subscribing. Of course. Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna let people know. Definitely letting people know. I just did the script last night, and so I ordered some inner child cards and archetype cards that will go extremely awesome with this with the podcast, and then and I'll just let people know. I'll let people know, no doubt. But but yeah, listen. And speaking of cards, let's get into these cards now. Let's see what the inner child has to say for the collective. dear heart spirit, how can what does the inner child, what message does the inner child have for the collective? What does the inner child, what messages does the inner child have for the collective? I pray that you connect me to the energy of the inner child of the collective. Ooh, y'all have a lot going on. We're gonna get through it. Like as far as like the collective and the inner child, yeah, the inner child is screaming, y'all. It's like there's a lot of pain and suffering. And they're like waiting to be heard. That's exactly what I'm getting. The inner child is waiting to be heard. They've been waiting for someone to like tap into that energy for a long time. I'm feeling the energy of especially little girls. The little girls or female nod. Oh wow. I'm getting like yeah, it's mostly like feminine energy. Feminine energy. I'm so excited, y'all. I really am excited about this. So, oh wow. Okay, so yeah, all right. Thank you, Spirit. So basically, what we got is the world. Like your child is basically saying, "Oh, hey, we're so. Do you have a name for the 4-year-old? Hey, how are you?" So basically, what I got here is the world. And the world card, the energy that I got here is that the world is your oyster. The world. Hey, TJ, how are you? How are you, TJ? Okay. The world is basically your oyster. The world is yours. I'm just getting like an idealism with this reading with this particular card. There's an idealism, and that tells me that this child is very young, very vibrant, very idealistic, has a huge imagination, and basically sees the world and the people around them as something to discover. And so, what I'm getting is that the world is ours to discover. Your inner child wants to discover the world in a whole new light. Okay? There's a lot of hurt and a lot of I'm just seeing like oh this like children with wide eyes, like everything is a sense of wonder with this child, or with the inner child energy that I'm getting, and so we are as adults are being told to see the world with wonder, see our circumstances as something to be discovered and rediscovered, and as if something is something that we've never done before. Okay, because the world has beat us down. Excuse me. This world has shut us down and tried to take away our voice, right? And so what we're being told is that do not allow the world to at this point do not allow the world to take away our sense of wonder. Don't allow the world to take us away from a sense of discovery, innovation, newness. Okay, a lot of y'all, I'm getting this. Some of you are looking forward to Christmas. A lot of you are looking forward to Christmas because that is the time where you can play. You can play with lights. You can play in the snow. You get toys. Some of y'all still get toys. Some of you are around children. Okay, I was like be around children. Okay, be around children this time of year, especially around December and Thanksgiving, somewhere around the holidays. I'm definitely seeing Christmas trees, Christmas lights, snow, and things like that, and just snowmen. playing outside, someone has a dog, someone has some sort of pet, or had a pet when they were little, that they've held near and dear in their, in their life. So what you're getting is that in this card right here is basically allow yourself that childlike spirit, that sense of wonder. Okay. Ooh, okay, so I'm here for it. So the inner child also gave us that energy, gave us the two of wands, and what I get from the two of wands is like there's decision making, um, not knowing where to go, always thinking about where I'm supposed to be. And what this card is saying is that there's a lot of folks here that are always overthinking, always wondering where to go, always wondering what to do. Okay, so um, and so what ends up happening is that we are not to be so afraid to not make a decision. I'm just getting go where the wind blows. Go where the wind blows and not think so much about the future and not think so much about, oh, what the next day is going to be like. Be in the moment, live in the moment. If you can see this, the person in the card, um, they're looking at a bird. They're tied down, but they're also looking at a bird. That's that sense of wonder that we're talking about, that sense of freedom. So yeah, so basically we're being told not to tie ourselves down to the point where we're always constantly thinking about the world. I'm just getting a lot of Capricorn energy from this card, a lot of Capricorn energy, a lot of Earth, analytical energy from this card too. And so what I am getting is that we are to stop being analytical and start playing, and start um, realizing our freedom and what we're really here for. We're not here to just pay bills and die. We're not just here to pay bills and take care of our babies. We're not here to just work, okay, and worry about the future. We're not just. I'm getting some of y'all need to stay away from the news, okay, because a lot of people who pay attention to the news, they like have active imagine. I'm getting that a lot of y'all have active imaginations, and so the media is playing with your mind and playing with your subconscious thoughts, and now you're like in adult mode. But also when it comes to, that's why you got the sense of wonder. Not everything about the world is is dangerous, and so that's why you're being told to remember that you are to make a decision. You can somehow like forget having a decision. Sometimes it's okay for you to not have a list. Sometimes it's okay for you to not be bogged down by responsibilities. Sometimes it's okay for you to not make a choice. Okay? Sometimes it's okay to just do. And some kids, they have no filter. They have no filter whatsoever. They say and do whatever until an adult just steps in and stops them. Don't allow the world, have I seen the way I see it, the world is like this huge adult that's constantly telling you to be careful and to be quiet and not to do this and not to do that. And it's like this, like you're shaking, and I see a lot of this anxiety is like your inner child is telling you to breathe and realize that the world, you have a choice to discover the world as it is. Okay, so um Diamond says, I had so many pets when I was younger, and they were my playmates. Yes, yes. If you do not have a pet in some way, shape, or form, please have a pet, or maybe like a stuffed animal um, that reminds you of that pet. Okay, if you are allergic to animals in some way, shape, or form. Okay, there was a reason why you had so many pets. There was so. And I'm just getting that you just loved not you loved animals, and animals loved you, and that was like the only time that you ever trusted anything is when you had animals around. Animals loved you unconditionally. Animals loved you unconditionally. And so when they reminded you, I'm just getting that animals remind you of love, unconditional love. I can't get a pet, but I can definitely plan to get a car and two dogs when I move. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes, like yeah, I'm just getting like yes, I can see that. Um, a cat. Yes, I love my cat. I love Shadow. He gets on my nerves at times, but I love him to death. He reminds me that there is goodness in the world, and that's another thing. Animals. It's not surprising at all that this animal is here in this world, or you know what I mean, in this card rather. Animals love unconditionally, and to be honest with you, like this bird is about freedom. Birds are about freedom. There are certain birds about wisdom. Depending on the bird, they're about freedom. They're about strength. They're about the will, and there's some about freedom. You know what I mean? And what I got here from this little guy right here, I don't know what type of bird it is, but I definitely got freedom. Yes, your first pet was a bird. Yeah, I remember when my grandma, when I was growing up, she had two birds. It was like a green and white one, and a blue and white one. Um, and they were beautiful, like little birds. And of course they passed away, but they were just I just distinctly remember them and how much my grandmother loved them. Okay, birds are about freedom. They're about choice. They're about decision making or lack thereof. Okay, there is no such thing as not making a choice. There is no such thing as that. You either choose one or you choose another or you choose something, but you're always choosing something. Okay? So your inner child is basically telling you to choose freedom. Okay? You used to look at that bird all the time. You used to look at that bird all the time. It was always chirping. It was never quiet. Okay? That's what I'm getting. That bird was never quiet. You used to tap on the cage. Yes, you used to tap on the cage. Okay? And the yeah, yeah. It was like it was just kind of small in size to be honest. I'm getting like this little bird. It was little, but it had like a huge personality. Diamond. It was a really pretty bird. It was pretty. The cage, and I will always open it and close the door. uh, yeah, it was a cockatoo. Okay. Yeah, it was just like yeah. That's what I believe. I don't, and I'm not, I'm getting that it didn't die of natural causes. It didn't pass away from natural causes. I'm getting that it got away somehow. Either it got away, or like something happened to where it got freed. Maybe like it got free accidentally and accidentally. But you really love that bird. All right. So what we got here, as far as the inner child energy, what we got here was the King of Wands. And so what I'm getting from this is upside down. Yeah, it got away. It got away. Yeah, that's exactly what I got. It didn't die of natural causes. It got out somehow. Um, yeah, you never saw it again, and you were like devastated. I will say this: It did live its best life. It was meant to be free. It wanted to be free. Okay, this cockatoo did not want to be in the cage. It definitely wanted freedom. And so when it flew out of the house, that's exactly what it got. Okay, so it did live a good life. It lived a good life. Nothing happened to it that was strenuous. Yeah. So my dad got me another bird quick. Yeah, yeah. And so what ended up happening with the a lot of you stress yourself out. What I'm getting from this card is that a lot of y'all stressed yourself out with responsibility. You felt like you like the energy that I'm getting from the inner child is that you put yourself in a position. I'm getting like older child energy from this. Older child energy. You put yourself in a position to have responsibilities that were way beyond your expertise, way beyond your age, way beyond your capabilities. Okay, way beyond your stress level, and it caused a lot of stress as you got older. I'm getting from this card right here the King of Wands is that you were placed in a position of responsibility, of power, of some sort of power, and this went on for throughout your teenage years. Like people looked to you for responsibility. Okay, to be responsible. So I'm definitely getting some older child energy here. Older child, older teen energy, where you had to watch your brothers, where you had to watch, or you had to watch your younger siblings, or you were placed in a position of making a choice between your childhood and what you would like to do as far as your hanging out with friends or doing something fun and doing something around the house or taking on some sort of responsibility that you were not ready for. Okay, and there's a lot of us that are still carrying that energy around. Okay, they're still carrying the energy around within our adulthood where we're taking on more than our fair share of the responsibility because we were the hero, or we were the oldest child, or we were or we were the leader. We were placed in a leadership role, and what ends up happening is that we feel as if um, we're now afraid to mess up. We're now afraid of letting someone down. We feel that we are or we're a defective leader. Okay, people who got this card, I'm getting that some of y'all feel like you're a defective leader, that you let someone down simply because you wanted a life of your own, or you felt like you felt, with your responsibilities or something. And so what ends up happening is that you carried a lot of that stress, or you're overextending you're overcompensating. I'm getting that you're overcompensating. So your inner child is basically saying that it wasn't your responsibility. You can let a lot of those responsibilities of taking care of people and taking care of, all kinds of people. You can let that shit go. You have the permission to let that shit go. Let it go. What's going on with the brother is not your responsibility. What's going on with your sister and your cousin, your mama, your daddy, that's none of your concern. That's none of your concern. I'm just getting that you took care of the family for so long that now, or you've been like the family caretaker for so long that and this has gone on from not just childhood, but like your throughout your teenage years. So now you feel as if you have to take care of everybody, and it's causing you a lot of health problems. It's causing you a lot of stress because now that boundary is not there. I'm just getting like a lot of unhealthy boundaries, and so what's happening is that you're now taking care of your mama, the daddy, the cousin, the uncle, the auntie, Okay, a lot of you are now caretakers. You're taking care of someone in your home, whether it be like an elderly person, somebody is sick, and you're being assigned as a caretaker. This is or they're at least trying to do that to you, and so your inner child is basically saying like, well, you have a life of your own. You have a life of your own. This is time for you to live your life and allow other people to carry their own weight. Allow other people to take care of themselves. Because a lot of people, the archetype that a lot of us have growing up is the caretaker, the family historian, because if you're the oldest, the babysitter, you're often taking care of somebody. It is now wearing you down, and so now you're being asked to have those boundaries. Yeah, I'm just getting that. Like, so you now have the moon upside down. The moon is upside down. There were some people in your life that were not trustworthy at all. There were some people in your life that, as a child, they violated your trust. Yeah, they feel like I'm just getting that. Oh, my somebody's trust out there was violated. Those who are meant to, hear this message, and now you feel as if you can't trust anybody. I'm getting that somebody like someone stole from you, or like someone in your adult, not in your adult life, but someone an adult in your life when you were a child, either stole from you or like they stole some sort of material from you or something. So what I'm getting from this card is that at this point in time, no one is out to hurt you. The adult energy that I'm getting for I'm sorry, the inner child energy that I'm getting is that no one is out to get you, and no one is trying to hurt you at this point. It's time to release it and to let this go, and realize that not everyone is out here to get you or to hurt you. Yeah, I'm getting that a lot of the inner child is. I'm seeing like, why am I seeing a closet or you being in the corner? I'm seeing that someone is like hunched in a corner. A child. I'm getting like now a male energy. This is happening to like a male child or a male bodied child, a little boy, and I'm getting that they were like in a closet somewhere. Like you're hiding from this person. You're hiding somewhere to get away from this person. So whoever this adult was, they terrorize you in some way, shape, or form. They hurt you in some way, shape, or form to the point where you felt like you're hiding or you were on punishment somehow. I'm getting they not only stole materials, but they stole your time and energy. So I'm getting you okay. So I'm getting you don't even have to you don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to hide. There's no reason to hide or to be afraid anymore. That's what I'm getting with the new moon, the with the moon energy upside down. That card. So Diamond says, "That's me, and I'm the youngest. I feel like I carry everything because they feel I'm the most responsible, or I just actually care." And here's the thing: this is a time, Diamond, to set that boundary. Set that boundary. Okay, that's why I was getting like a responsible energy because yes, you were the youngest, but they definitely treated you like you were like the oldest child. And when I say oldest, I'm saying the one with the most experience, the one with the knowledge, the one with the most wisdom. Okay, and so they treat you that way because they're used to it. So this is time for you to please ask yourself or tell yourself to set that boundary. Set that boundary with your people. Set that boundary by saying, like, look, I'm tired. I'm tired. If you have to have like a family meeting that's entitled I'm tired, by all means do that. Okay. But your time is precious. Your energy is just as precious as whatever's going on. You're not to carry everything, and you can only carry as much as you allow them to give you. If you carry it, then you're allowing it. Do not allow it anymore. You're not like you're not obligated to take care of anybody. Okay? My father took my whole childhood away from me. I couldn't do anything as a kid but clean and do what he says. That's not okay. That's not okay. Okay. And that's how, to be honest with you, like that energy that I'm getting is just as the way is very similar. I don't even know why I can't speak right now. Is because that's another thing with children. We're seeing and not heard, but that's a whole nother thing. What I'm getting from this is that my mom used to do the same thing. I'm the oldest of my siblings, and so I used to live with my mom when I was growing up. My parents divorced when I was 9, and by 10 years old, I was watching my brothers Lawrence and Chew. I was watching my brothers almost every single night. I had no childhood. I was basically a caretaker. While my mom either worked or did whatever she wanted to do, whether it be like her having company or her just going to work or her just being out for a minute and doing whatever. Okay. And so I grew up thinking that, that's what motherhood is. That's what being a parent is. There's no freedom in this. I was literally afraid of watching people's children because of the way I was treated. But I also told myself, after getting the help that receiving a counselor and getting myself together, that there was more to my life than being like a surrogate parent or being something that my mom wanted me to be. So I say that, Diamonds, because this is a time for you to have that mentality and to know, tell that child within you that she does not have to clean or listen to anybody anymore. She doesn't have to clean. She don't have to cook. She ain't got to do nothing. Okay, Michaela, I'm for real. I'm sorry. I have two diamonds here, Michaela. That's the thing, Michaela. You do not have to do that anymore. Your father, okay, does not have jurisdiction over you any longer. They don't like he does not have jurisdiction over you. He does not have any sort of jurisdiction over your adulthood. And now that you have the freedom that you did not have as a child, you can tell that child, look, it's just me and you, and we don't have to do what dad tells us to do. Okay, like you and your, in other words, you and little Michaela are safe. You and little Michaela are okay. Y'all don't have to cook or clean. Y'all, in fact, if you wanted to right now, y'all can go and do something as little as getting ice cream. Do something, and that's an assignment that I have for y'all. If y'all can do it, do something. Um, Basically, do something to do something that you've always wanted. Something small for you and your little one. When I say little one, I mean the child within you, knowing full well that no one can tell either of you what to do. If you want to eat ice cream for breakfast, by all means, go ahead. If you want to go and what get like do something as get a tattoo or drive somewhere that you've always wanted to go and go ahead and do it, knowing that you do not have to ask permission anymore. Does that make sense? Because a lot of us, when we go to our child, like when we are in in our childhood, or you know, we are so obligated to listen to somebody else. We're so obligated to listen to someone else. We're so obligated to depend on someone else. But if you are not depending on your parent, or you're not depending on that person who took your childhood away, by all means, living your life is an act of defiance. Okay, living your life and living your truth and allowing your inner child to take part in that, that's an act of defiance, and that's an act of freedom. Okay, if that resonates, by all means, let me know. But that is what I'm getting. All right. So what I'm getting here. All right, dear spirit, what solutions do you have? What energy? What solutions does the inner child have? All right. So what I've got here, straight up and flat out, is to allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to feel all of your feelings. Allow yourself to be defiant to the point of of telling your truth, but not to the point where you're destructive. Be aware of your destruction, because remember, your inner child, a lot of us, because they have not gone through that anger, have not had a chance to go through that anger, is coming out in your adulthood in some way, in some self-destructive type of way. This is a time for you to use that anger in a very constructive manner. Write a letter to your little self. Allow your little self to, if in fact, I have another exercise for you. And this actually involves a writing exercise. Okay, give yourself some time to meditate. Meditate and tap into your inner child energy. What would they say to you? What would they say to you? Allow them to be angry. Allow them to say whatever they could to you, because with you, they're safe. They're safe with you. So give them permission to tell you what how they feel. Tap into that energy and just basically write everything that they tell you. Write down everything your little self tells you. Allow them to be angry. Allow them to be honest with you. Okay? I would love to, and don't edit, don't stop writing. Write until you're being led to stop. And then read it to yourself. Read it to yourself and see how that goes. Remember, like, and think about how you're feeling, after the end of it. Yeah, tap into your child, that child, and that inner child energy, and allow your little self to just tell you anything that comes to mind. I'm just getting that. Allow your inner child to have a voice. Allow your inner child to tap and to tap into your energy, to tap with you on the shoulder, and let you know how they feel. Because people have who have gone through any sort of traumatic, um, and who any child who grew up in some sort of a household where they're not able to speak, okay, they're not able to speak their mind, they're not able to speak, speak out loud their feelings. They bottle that stuff, or they bottle that stuff inside, or it comes out in some way, in a different way that is very destructive. I used to hit kids. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat. I was being hit when I was a kid. I couldn't say anything about it. So you best believe when I went to school, I was slapping the hell out of kids. I'm serious. I was literally like, you best believe that I was destructive in some way, shape, or form. I stayed in detention. I stayed in detention. I stayed hitting a child. I remember one time, like, out of the blue, I just took some pencil shavings and dumped them on the child's head. I was in detention very quickly. And I did stuff like that because I didn't know where to take it. I didn't know what to do with it. There was a lot of anger at home that I could not express. So allow your inner child to contact you, to open up to you. Because if not, I'm just getting that because a lot of you are not at peace. Allow yourself to be at peace. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to cry when you read that letter. This is a lot of y'all as an adult. This is a lot of y'all as an adult. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to ugly cry without judgment. Allow yourself to be free with your emotions. The inner child is basically saying, allow yourself to be free with your emotions and do so without judgment. Like, y'all deserve that. Okay? Does anyone have any questions or comments? How do you forgive yourself knowing it hurt them? What do you mean? Could you elaborate, Michaela? You talking about like it hurt, like what hurt your inner child? It says, how do you forgive yourself knowing it hurt them? Hurt who? Your inner child or other child or other children? Because if you're like, whether you are whether you hurt your inner child or someone else, I will say this: know that you came from a place of hurt. You came from a place of you came from a place. Okay, how do you forgive yourself knowing you hurt other children? Excuse me. I came from a place of hurt. I came from a place of desperation. I forgave myself knowing that. I forgave myself knowing that that wasn't me, and I would never do that to someone else today. I forgave myself knowing that a lot of how I acted out is because I didn't that anger was not going anywhere. Okay? And it's hard because sometimes when you're so used to being in a place of trauma, you can't differentiate your hurt from someone else's, or your behavior from someone, or from that of those who inflicted that upon you. So you keep thinking like, in some way, shape, or form, I'm like them in some way. In some way, I forgive myself, um, by knowing that I would not hurt someone like that. Okay, and I forgive myself by changing. I forgive myself by, holding myself accountable by changing my behavior. I used to, and this is just a disclosure. I was very, um, because of the way I was treated when I was growing up. I used to abuse my brother Sherman. I was very abusive towards him. I was very abusive towards him and, my other two brothers as well. Okay, it took me going through it. It took him saying, "You're like mom every day. Why are you doing this?" For me to wake up at the age of maybe 15 or 16 and realize what I was doing. I've since make a, he's since forgiven me, and I have made amends. And so, like, when it comes to other people, you forgive yourself by saying, you know, I was coming from a place of, it wasn't me, and it was not okay for me to do that. It was not okay for me to do this. And knowing that you're a much better person than that, making amends to yourself by changing. That's, to me, that's all that matters, and that's how I forgave myself. The way you forgive yourself, is completely different. It is different for everybody. But I think my spirituality helped me see that I was a product of my environment, and I was capable of change. Does that make sense? And that's another thing too. If you yourself was abusive in some way, shape, or form, you're not an abuser. Okay, you're not an abuser. That is not your label. You are a product of your environment. Regardless of what that type of abuse looked like, as long as you do the work, your shadow work, and as long as you recognize your part in someone else's trauma, there is no need for you to hold on to that for any longer if you've changed your behavior. We're not here to beat ourselves up. No problem. I'm glad I was able to answer your question. Sometimes I have the tendency to ramble. So that's why I'm always asking if something makes sense. So we'll pull one more card because that was heavy. All right. So, what words of encouragement do you have for those who are meant to resonate from this message? This inner child message. All right. So, we got the upper. I'm getting God is with you. Spirit is with you. Yahweh is with you. However, whomever you worship, your spirit squad is with you. They know what's happening, they know what's going on, and they are with you always. This is a time for you to tap into that energy, So you can learn how to forgive yourself if you have not. You can learn how to forgive others if you have not. Okay. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation, but in order for you to move forward, you are to forgive yourself and other people who are a part of the situation. And also forgive yourself because you did not fail your inner child. You did not fail them. You did not fail them at all. You were in survival mode and you were doing the best you could under the circumstances. Now they have your attention. Now your inner child has your attention. So you are to work as a team. You are to protect them. You are to protect and honor the little person that you were. Okay? Protect that little person. As far as, people who were trans or gender nonconforming, honor that little one because they grew up and they used their body to protect you. They used their body to take in the brunt of the abuse and the brunt, like whether it be mentally, emotionally, psychologically, sexually, financially. They took the brunt of the abuse so you can be here. So you can come out and be safe to be yourself. They took the brunt of it. I'm just getting spirit is with y'all. Spirit is with us. Okay? So tap into that upper world energy. The upper world is the heavens. That's where the ascended masters are. Ascended masters, angels, archangels, your ancestors, not just from this lifetime, but from many other lifetimes. They protected you. And so did your little one. So this is a time for you to tap into that spiritual energy that's within you so that both of you can grow. So you and your inner child can grow up to be well adjusted adults, happy, fun loving adults who live in freedom. Okay? So that's all we have for tonight as far as Monday Night Special. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, please subscribe to the channel because there's going to be more inner child readings similar to this one. And also you can oh, Michaela says I'm crying. This is deep and beautiful. Yes, thank you so much for you're I'm glad that resonated with you. I'm glad that resonated with you, Michaela. I'm glad that resonated with everyone here. Okay. I just wanted to let y'all know your inner child is waiting. They've been waiting for a while. So it's time for y'all to tap into that energy. Okay, tap into it. Love that energy. It's very pure. It's very pure. Okay. That's where like that baby was very pure. Okay? So it's time. No problem. No problem, Diamond. I'm glad that you were here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, TJ. Thank you so much, TJ, for being here as well. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you are, so moved to do so, share this. Share this video. Share this on your pages. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, however. Also, if you would like to have a reading, you can contact me at bowtiepsychic@gmail.com. My website is almost done, y'all. And when you're able to and when I post that information, you'll have that information. And this is actually a service that I'm going to add in the inner child reading and healing. So I'll definitely add that as well. And you'll have that available to you. Um, Also, what else? Look out for the website. The website. Look out for the podcast that's coming up. Um, what else? Hmm. There was a whole bunch I had, and my mind just like psh, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. Um, but yeah, you can also. That's right. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, the Bowtie Psychic. Um, you can definitely hit me up for a reading, or and if you would like to have a mini reading here, you can drop a donation in my PayPal account, and the it's up there, but I'll put it up here again. Hmm. Yep. So payments can go there. Otherwise, I'm going to head out. If you are not looking for a mini reading, and it's just for you, it's very personal. Um, so it can be 20. It could be $20. But if you do not have the $20, you can definitely like send a donation. Okay. So and before we head out, how is everyone doing? Is everyone all right? Yeah, I definitely want to check in before I head out for tonight. And and believe me, like I definitely want to thank y'all for like giving me the opportunity to serve. I love this. I love this. I love doing stuff like this, and um, I love giving services and providing clarity for people. A sense of clarity and a sense of healing. You know, Michaela said, "I'm just taking it all in." Yes, and be sure to watch the replay. If you're watch the replay. I had a professional crisis earlier, but I'm good now. Spirit helped me work through it. Awesome, awesome. Um, yeah, like just be aware, like that there's gonna be like some lack of communication and people doing the most out here. Throughout the month of November. Um, I know that a lot of people. I mean, whether you believe it or not, or put power in it or not, like Mercury retrograde is not like these retrogrades are not a joke. There's going to be a lot of communication barriers and arguments and shit. So just be aware. But I'm glad that you're good now, for real. Don't let nobody like. I was wondering like, do you have your own business or are you working for yourself? Diamond, I'm not. I didn't know because I know that you have. That's thank you for saying that about professionalism. Y'all need to follow Diamond's channel as well. Diamond Cartel, you know, ISYS LLCC. Um, yes. So, oh, I'm doing a podcast too on my journey. Excited about that. When I have guests on, I love to have you on to talk about your journey. Yes, of course. Let me know. Please let me know. And because if when my podcast drop, I'll definitely will love to have you on as well. Um, because just to reach out to the community and talk about how other people heal. So yeah, by all means, let me know. Let me know. I will definitely be there. So and I'll definitely let people know that I'm going to be there. So yeah, but yeah, like it. this is a time for us to also support one another in some way, shape, or form, whether it be, yes. So Diamond here is not only a coaching, a business coach, but she's also a public speaker, and she has nothing like she has a whole bunch of urban fiction books out, and she's actually, if I'm not mistaken, she is actually working on a book about her family, her family history. So by all means, um, subscribe to Diamond's channel as well. Okay, just click on her name and just find her on Facebook, and find her she's on Instagram as well, but she's here on YouTube. So follow her. She has tons and tons and tons of videos, about personal growth, business growth. You know, I highly recommend that you seek her out. Seek her out. Um, so yeah, so yeah, yeah. Like that's another thing too. I will just straight up and get like I will straight up gas y'all up. Just let me know about your business. Don't and let me know about what's going on, and I will definitely let people know about it. So, all right. On that note, I'm gonna head out. I'm hungry. Like I'm hungry as hell. Like I ate a little bit today, and my housemate is cooking. Whatever they're cooking it smells really good. So I'm just gonna go out and just feed my face. So thank you again so much. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share this video. Let people know about Monday Night Special. Let people know about the Bowtie Psychic. Again, I'm Javi, and you are watching me on YouTube, and I will talk to y'all soon. All right. Peace.